Hey viewers, this is my 1990 Trek 1000 and I've had it for about 10 years, and in the time I've had it I've replaced nearly every component on this bike some 2 or 3 times. About all that's original is the frame, the fork, and the wheels. They're nice campy wheels on here, and also the headset here. That's, I think, about the only thing that's original on this bike. But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to replace the front fork with a carbon fiber fork, and I'm going to switch the headset from a threaded headset to a threadless headset. I do currently have a threadless stem adapter on there, but I'm going to actually switch to a true threadless type system. One of the things I've been asked most frequently is how to switch from a threaded fork to a threadless fork. And what I think most people are asking is how to switch from a threaded fork with a 1-inch steerer tube to the common threadless fork with a 1 1/8 inch steerer tube. It ain't gonna work. The diameter of this 1 1/8 inch steerer tube will just barely fit inside this head tube here, and it doesn't leave enough room for the cups to be pressed in around it. So that just ain't gonna work. There's like 2 things you can do to go from threaded to threadless. On some mountain bikes, they have oversized head tubes, and they had a 1 1/8 inch threaded steerer tube that went in there. Those can be switched to a threadless fork with a 1 1/8 inch steerer tube. But the most common size of threaded forks is with a 1-inch steerer tube. So the only way you can switch that is to find a threadless fork with a 1-inch steerer tube. They're not real common, they're kind of expensive if you find them, but they are out there. What I'm actually going to be using is actually a threaded fork, but with a very long steerer tube. And so I'm going to install a threadless headset on here, put this in here, and then I can just clamp the steerer tube onto this threaded part up here. So this will work. So then I'll have a nice carbon fiber fork on here with a threadless headset. So I need to remove the old stuff here. I'm going to start off by removing the front wheel. I'm going to remove the brake here from the fork. Pull this out, and I'll put this little nut back on there. Then I'll remove the handlebars here from the stem. Fortunately, with this threadless stem adapter here, it's really easy to remove this handlebars from the stem without having to pull all the tape and the shifters off there, slide it off like on a traditional quill stem. Though this basically does act as a quill stem, but it's real nice because I can just remove these bolts here and pop the handlebar right off, and then kind of move this to the side, just kind of try to get this out of the way a bit. And then this threadless stem adapter removes basically like a regular quill stem. I'm just going to loosen this bolt up here like this, and then I can slide this up and out. Like that. And then I need to remove the lock nut here from the top of the fork. So loosen this here. Pull out these little washers in there. Loosen this. And then I can slide the fork out of there like this. Now I need to remove these cups here from the head tube, and I have a tool here that I made. I have a video on how to make this to remove these cups. So I just slide this up through here, let it engage that bottom cup, and then hit down, and let it knock that cup out of place. So there's the one cup. And then I need to remove the top cup. So I'll pull this down through here, get it like here, and then hit up. And there's the top cup there. And then I bought a brand new 1-inch threadless headset, and so I need to install that. And I'm going to start off by installing the cups into the head tube. I'm going to install the bottom cup first, and so what I'll do is just put a little bit of grease in around the little part here and kind of get it nice, and so it'll hopefully slide in relatively smoothly. I put a little bit of grease down and around here as well. And then I'm going to use a homemade press tool, and I have a video on how to make one of these. And so get this here, slide this down here, get this up in here like this, get these washers up here like this, get the nut up here. And then there's a logo on this cup down here, so I want that logo facing forward, just for aesthetics. And the trick is to try to press this cup as straight up into the head tube as possible. So just try to get it go in as straight. And so I'll get this wrench down here to hold this nut down here, and use this wrench up here to tighten this nut up here, and try to make sure that it's going in straight. Okay, looks like it's going in slightly crooked, so I'm going to release tension on here, move this slightly back a little bit, and tighten it and try to get the back part up in there. And once you get it so far, then it generally goes pretty easy as far as trying to going in straight. And it looks like it's going in straight now. And get it till the cup is pressed completely tight up into the head tube, and nice and flush all the way around. Now I can go ahead and remove this tool. And then next I need to press in the top cup, and it doesn't have a logo on there, so it can go on either way. I don't have to worry about getting one side facing forward or anything. Put a little bit of grease around in this, get a little bit of grease in around inside the head tube there. Get my tool up in place here, get the cup in place, and then start tightening this down. And when it's fully tightened on there, then go ahead and loosen the tool. So now the two cups are installed. I can wipe off any of this excess grease that got pressed out as the cups went on. I just got to get that cleaned up like that. And then I can install the bearings. And I've got my grease gun here, and I'm going to use marine grease and just pack the bearings with grease. Just squirt grease in between each of the little ball bearings in the cage here. And then I'm going to put some grease around the race in here. And then I'm going to press the bearings just up in there. I'm going to have the flat side of the cage facing down on this one here. So I'll press those bearings up in there, and the grease will hold them up. And then the bearings from the top here, again, inject some grease in between each of the bearings in there. Put some grease up around the cup race. And then I'm going to place the bearings up there with the flat side of the cage facing up. And then I need to install the crown race onto the fork here. So I'm just going to slide this down over here like this. And then I've got my homemade crown race installer tool here. It's basically a piece of PCV pipe. Slide this over here like this. Take a mallet, tap that down, and I think we'll go a little bit farther down there, I think. And there, my crown race is all nice and installed on my fork, just like that. And then I also need to install the star-fangled nut into the fork tube here. And so I have a star nut setter. And so I'm just going to screw this onto the tip here, just like this. And then kind of get this set down into here like this. And then use my hammer get this driven down into the steerer tube. And there, and then I can unscrew this. And then my star nut is down inside there. Now I'm ready to start installing the fork here. I've got like a little dust ring that goes down around here, around the crown race. And so now I can slide the fork up in through the stair tube, and the bearings are already in there. So I can turn this. I've got the little part that goes up here. It's got the race in there, and that just slides down over here like this. And so that slides in there like that. There's the little wedge part. The wedge part kind of goes down and presses down in around that, like that. Okay, then now I'm up here, and I think I'm probably going to want a spacer, a little bit of a spacer there. So I've got, I think it's about a 5mm spacer, and it's for a 1-inch steer tube like that. Make sure you get the right size. And now I have a couple different choices here. I've got a stem that's designed for a 1-inch threadless steer tube, so I could do that, or I can use one designed for a 1 1/8 inch steer tube with a shim, and I think I'm going to go for that. So I've got the shim here, so that'll slide on like that, and then I've got my stem here, and then that's going to slide down over the shim like this. Now I want to install the little cap here, and the cap will is used to tighten down and tension on the bearings. Now this cap here is actually designed for the 1-inch stem, so this isn't going to work. It's just going to slide through there. So I have another cap that's a little bit larger, designed for a 1 1/8 inch stem, so I'm just going to use this and slide this down in there and thread this down into the star nut down there. And I'm going to tighten this down to where the fork doesn't have play in it, but it turns smoothly. And I can always loosen this up just a little bit. And I can always adjust it later as well. So I'm going to leave it right there. And then I'm going to tighten the stem onto the steerer tube here. Tentatively, I'll probably have to readjust this later. So I just tighten the clamp bolts on this. Now I want to reinstall the handlebars. So can I get these rearranged here how they were before, and I think that's about right. And get the stem clamp positioned on here and tighten these bolts in a little bit. Get the handlebars adjusted roughly where I want them, and then tighten these clamp bolts, and I can always adjust them later. Okay, now I want to remount the front brake. Make sure that the cable's all routed away, round all the other cables the way you want it. And I'm going to slide this in here and get this little nut back here in there. And then tighten this in. And then make sure that the brakes are roughly straight there. And I may still have to adjust them. Now I will remount the front wheel. So slide this up through here, get this all in place, boom, tighten this on here, like this, test the brakes. They do look fairly straight, so I'll tighten this all the way, like that. And there it is, my Trek 1000, now with a brand new carbon fork on here and a threadless headset. Everything's straightened up and tightened. And I hope you found this useful or interesting. If you did, please click like on my video. I always appreciate getting likes on my videos and it helps me out. If you're not subscribed to my channel, click the big subscribe button and you'll see new videos that come out. I'm always coming out with new videos. And I'm also over on Facebook, RJ the Bike Guy. Go over there, like my page, and I post a lot of stuff over there. Anyway, thank you very much for watching.